Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Thank you as always for your tweets. Stevie, Nicol with us here in the studio. Gab Marcotti and Don Hutchison also join us. We have a plethora of questions today. No time to mess around. For Stevie, over the two legs, Inter Milan played well. I don't see why you were so negative towards them after the first leg. Today, they proved they can go toe-to-toe with the likes of Liverpool. As a Liverpool fan, I hope this is the jolt they need.
Toe-to-toe? Seriously?
Toe-to-toe.
I'm sorry, I must have been watching the wrong game. They went toe-to-toe. Over 180 minutes, they scored a fantastic goal today with Lautaro, but for the rest of the two ties, did they make a chance where you're thinking they should have scored? I don't think they did. So it depends on what you think is played well.
Right.
If playing well means you don't get beaten 6-0 over two legs, then they played well.
Okay.
But other than that, the fact that Liverpool didn't play well in both ties suggests that they didn't play well because they never took advantage of Liverpool not being at the best. And even though Liverpool weren't at their best, they still were comfortable. I never once got the feeling that they weren't going to win the tie. Not once.
Did they play well, Gab?
Actually, hold on a second.
Oh, hands up.
I just remembered one thing, right? Gab was talking about how recently Liverpool were on a great run, but they've given up chances against Burnley, they've given up chances against Norwich.
Right.
They've given up chances against every team they've played, pretty much.
Right.
But yet, over two legs, Inter couldn't muster much of a chance.
Well, Gab.
So, I'm just saying, depends on your level of playing well.
I'm not going to dispute that, but Inter starting from a different starting point than where Liverpool are at. Inter without arguably their best player. I think these things all have an impact. I think where Inter were really lacking was in the second leg in terms of cutting edge, and in the first leg, I disagree. I think Inter did have chances to score, and they didn't take them. And I think ultimately that's what it boils down to. I mean, it's okay. We can say that that Inter played well against one of the best teams in the world, a team that, as you said earlier on the show, Stevie, was so good that they could play badly and still go 12 games unbeaten. Well, after winning 12 games in a row, they lost at home at Anfield.
Forgot about that.
If you're the other team, you say, hey,
Gab,
we did
keep
okay.
your facts to yourself.
Don, how would you have reacted to a teammate in the locker room who did something similar to what Alexis Sanchez did?
Well, I've done it. I've done it 6 times, so I'm not the man to be criticising someone. I've been there with a red mist. The trouble with Sanchez is it wasn't really a red mist thing. It wasn't like they were losing 4 and he decided, right, my head's gone. Red mist, I'm going to top someone. It was ridiculous, really.
Go on, Gab.
If I can put just a bit of context to Alexis Sanchez, look, he's not stupid, right? So he knows he's at Arsenal, he's playing great, one of the best players in the Premier League. He goes to United, he stinks it up. They can't wait to get rid of him. They subsidize his move to Inter. He goes to Inter. He's not starting. He's off the bench. He scores the odd goal. Like, oh look, Alexis can be a super sub and so on. And he says, no, I can play from the first minute. I'm still that guy. And they've kind of spun this tale around him that, okay, fine. Well, if you're going to play instead of Lautaro or instead of Dzeko, in this case, you're going to have to go and give us so much more. And he said, oh, I can be the leader. I can be the guy for the big nights. I've played for all the biggest teams in the world. Look at me go. And so that's why I think he played on the edge all night, as did Vidal. The difference is that we're accustomed to Vidal getting sent off. He didn't get sent off this time, and he stayed on the good side and was, in one of Inter's best players. Alexis, on the other hand, when you play with that intensity, you put yourself in that danger. I think a lot of it, in his case, is up here, wanting to show what he could do.
How did you react in the locker room when someone got sent off? Because you never got sent off in your career, did you?
It absolutely 100% depends on the situation. If somebody like Sanchez gets sent off for a challenge like that, nobody's going to say anything to him.
Right.
They're not. And I'm going to defend him here because Sanchez, his whole career, has been a committed player. But unfortunately, when you get older and you get slower, it doesn't register how slow you are. And so sometimes you end up making challenges that are just wrong. You're never going to get there. So from that point of view, I feel for him. The only time you lose your rag is with a player who, when you're either in a game or you're ahead, ends up doing somebody.
Like Don.
Like Don.
Yeah.
Just because they want to do it.
Yeah.
Just because they're angry at them for something earlier, or they go around and they hit somebody, something like that. That's the only time you'll go for anybody in the dressing room. Other than that, we all get it that sometimes we misjudge things and make some mistakes.
Did they go for you, Don, when you got sent off?
Everyone does back in our day, Dan. I've done it myself to other players when they've let you down. You know, when you get sent off, you're letting your teammates down. I'm pretty sure. Listen, it's one of them where he's gone in for the tackle, and he should have been sent off for the first one. No question, no debate whatsoever. He should have gone then. The fact that he is a little bit daft, I disagree with Gab, is one shot on that yellow card, and the yellow is like an orange because it should have been red. He's borderline. He must know one more tackle, I'm getting sent off here. And the fact that he follows through on Fabinho, accidental, yes. Referee's seen it. He was always going to get sent off. I'll bet he doesn't play for Inter for the next 2 or 3 games after that, because Inzaghi will feel he's let him down.
He's not going to play in the Champions League, I don't think, this season anymore. Did the panel sometimes feel that playing against 10 men was more difficult than playing against 11?
No.
It's the old cliche, isn't it?
Absolutely not.
No, is this complete rubbish, Don?
Yes.
I don't know if Stevie remembers when Graham Souness was the manager, Dan, and he used to put on sessions where he would have an 11v11 on a big pitch, and then he'd take, let's just say, Stevie Nicol off, and he'd put your team down to 10 men and say, right, what do you do? How do you react when you go down to 10? What are you going to do? Without me helping you, without me fixing it, you sorted out what you're going to do. And then he would actually take another one off, you go down to 9. And then that's where I think this question's quite relevant, because you go down to 9, you can get a bank, of 4, you can have 4 in front of that, and you can sort of double up and you don't move. And then a team can actually keep the ball at the back all day long, and they actually struggle to break you down. So it's not the worst question in the world.
Oh, there you go. That's a backhanded compliment. For Stevie, if Lukaku was on the pitch for Inter today, would the outcome have been different?
Well, I would suggest if Lukaku had been playing today, there was a couple of times balls were played through.
Yeah.
No question, his pace would have made a difference, and whether they actually ended up getting a shot on goal. So, I guess the answer to that is yes, he probably could have made a difference.
Gab, how can Serie A better monetize their league? I'm sick of not having any money, Napoli fan, while Villa can pay top dollar.
Like the obvious answer that everybody's gonna throw back at you is, stadiums. We need new stadiums. We need new fancy stadiums, and they're trying to build them, right? Fiorentina, I mean, Juventus did it, Udinese did it, Sassuolo did it, Inter and Milan are trying to do it. Napoli, I've talked about possibly doing it. Roma tried to do it. That's a short answer. We have a bunch of stadiums that, were state of the art in 1990 for the World Cup. That was 30 years ago, and apart from those exceptions, they really haven't changed much. So that's one obvious way to do it. And then the rest, I think, things are there. Once you start producing a better product, once you're more entertaining, I think the league has become a lot more entertaining in the last couple of years. Then the sponsors come in. Once you have better owners who are better at monetizing things, and they do have, in general, have better owners, then you start getting commercial sponsorship. And then you start going far in the Champions League and get those big Champions League checks, and then Bob's your uncle. You're on your way. See? Easy peasy.
Bish bash bosh, Gab solved it. Stevie, you are not known for being very serene watching Liverpool. Which player frustrates you more, Salah or Alexander-Arnold?
Oh, Salah. Aye, absolutely. 100%. I mean, today, he probably had 4 players around him. Right? 4 innocent players around him. Now, you got to, at some stage, the goals he scores are so good at times that you really can't turn around and say, why are you not getting your head up and just giving it to him? Because he's capable of doing it. The problem is, for the one time he does it, he stands on it or falls over it or something stupid happens the other 5 times and you're like, what are you doing? But then, the minute you think, right, he just does something incredible. It's so weird.
Final question, as we run out of time a little bit, is the obligatory percentage question for Mr. Hutchison.
Here we go.
What is the percentage chance of Liverpool winning the quadruple? We've already got 1.
You did that the other night, didn't you?
I did that the other day. I went 10%. I'm going to go up 5.
You're going to go up 5?
Yeah.
Hey.
Gone up to 15. Well, every time they progress.
Because it was so good today against Inter.
There you are.
I went 10% the other day, so I'm going to go 15 because every time they progress, they just get another little notch on the belt.
Wow.
that actually makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah.
The closer they get, it should go up.
Thank you for good.
Yeah.
Thanks for explaining that, everyone.
I apologise for having to go at you.
Higher or lower, Gab?
Lower, I think. Statistically, there's a reason why I don't know that anybody's ever won the quadruple. I could be wrong. I stand corrected.
No.
It's extremely difficult. They're 6 points back against City, and they have to play City, which could go both ways. And obviously, City are still in the Champions League as well, as are Bayern and Paris Saint-Germain and Chelsea and Arsenal. And Arsenal. Arsenal. Real Madrid.
Sorry. That's unnecessary.
And Atletico Madrid and Manchester United, they're all still in it.
Yes.
You know, a lot of stars have to align for that to happen. And as Stevie and I both agree on, they've not played well the last 12 games. So we're kind of assuming that them not playing well is by choice and they will kick it up a notch.
Like twins,
we don't know that that's going to happen.
Yes.
We're thinking alike and everything.
15%?
What?
What do you mean what? What have we just been talking about for the last 2 minutes?
50% they can win the quadruple.
15%.
Oh, 15?
Yeah, that's what Don was saying, remember? 10, up 15. You're like, oh, I can see where you're going with
I'm
that.
busy agreeing with Gab.
God.
No, I think he got it right first time.
Yeah.
10%.
10%. Thank you very much. Real Madrid against PSG, of course, will dominate the show tomorrow. Be sure to join us. What a match that should be at the Santiago Bernabeu. Be sure to be with us then. Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.